their lives over and fuck their families over just so I could fuck you over when it comes to your wage.
You're happy to get it.
Yeah, because honestly, when it comes to the price dollar, when it comes to the Mexican peso versus the American dollar, yeah, what they make is still going to be way more than they normally would make, with the Mexican peso. And but despite that, though, it's still fucked. It's still horrible. They should never have to deal with that shit. Yeah.
I found my stylus.
I just think that, our system is so, especially with our immigration system, because, we can streamline and genuinely strongly invest in our immigration system where it doesn't have to be the way it is. Legitimately.
The illegal shit in the borders and open up and make it a hell of a lot easier to do it legally.
Well, the thing is, actually, you're not even necessarily wrong. I mean, you really honestly are more closer to the truth than you think. Because, a lot of the, legal processes, a lot of, migrants and a lot of people that are, seeking asylum or trying to generally, have a job or seek an opportunity or at least have a basic roof over their head because they can't achieve that in their own homes because it's unstable, the cartel wars, whatever their excuse is, it doesn't really matter to me. Instability in their own government or in their own country, or they, can't live in their own home safely, and they want to.
Government's any different, but it's less corrupt and crooked than.
Sure, yeah, and it's you think a lot of these people want to come here to stir shit up here. No, they want to be more stable with their own lives, and they want to come up here,
work, support their families.
Yeah, and why is our immigration system so bureaucratic to the point where it wants to fuck these people over?
They come up in the summer and go back home during the winter.
Well, honestly, a lot of them don't even do that. A lot of them will come up here for work and realize that, I make a better living for not just me, but my family that is still living in Mexico or Colombia, wherever the fuck they live. It doesn't matter. Whether, it's they're making more just for them and their families, they want to try to establish citizenship and, not just for them, but their family too. And they want to come up here and seek a better opportunity, to have more stability and have an actual prosperous life. Like you, me, and everyone else wants to achieve. And that's literally fundamentally built in the American foundation of the idea. The United States was built on immigration fundamentally, no matter what. The Native Americans never fucking established the United States. It was colonialists and immigrants that fucking came over here and shit that did that.
Their little tribal territories.
Obviously. It got, the Iroquois Confederacy, and it got, it got a lot, I mean, sure, yeah. I mean, nitpicks, nitpicks and nuance aside, though, it's just you had a lot of these Europeans that came over here to seek a better opportunity in life because that was sold to them. And it's why shouldn't we look at the modern day and see a lot of these, Central South Americans or anyone else, from people in Africa or anywhere else, they want to see the same fucking thing. They're looking at our own history as Americans and thinking, hey, I could achieve that. I have the opportunity for that. It's why are we prohibiting that? I hate that shit.
Paranoia, we're going to become Mexico.
I hate that xenophobia because the silly thing of it is bullshit. I mean, you know what? Even if
wasn't always the same way, it keeps changing.
Of course, culture is always ever changing. Culture is an ever changing thing.
Yeah, everyone that comes from different countries and mixed together.
Yeah, I mean, America was fundamentally built on that, and it's yeah, I mean, we're going to see a lot of, Hispanic, Narlands, Cajun / Hispanic or, Vietnamese, Thai style, culture that intermingles in America because of all the corners of what the fuck our country is. We are a diversity, multicultural built nation. That's who we fundamentally are. And honestly, I hate that we just want to repress that or, eschew that because, we're a traditionalist, conservative, Christian nation or some shit. It's no, the fuck we're not. We are a diverse nation of diverse cultures, diverse races, diverse peoples, etc., diverse religions. We are a nation built on diversity. We were fundamentally built on that.
Yeah.
It's like, and the idea to try to eschew that or demonize it is fucking insane to me.
Like the Mexican border, really, it's where the problem of all these illegal immigrants are from. It used to be it's real easy to get across the border, so the Mexicans would come up here.
I mean, I remember when
I was a kid, they'd work their way north,
What also,
during the harvest season.
Yeah, well, also, one thing that I learned about...
But now they got so hardcore on the border, getting across the border, instead of going home, they stay here.
Yeah, well, one thing that I remember about Reagan... Well, one thing I remember about Reagan during the 80s, at least in his first term, that he naturalized a lot of asylum seekers and citizens or migrants that were coming over to the country and shit. And, like, he was, like, one of the few Republicans to actually do that shit. Also, I mean, not to derail the topic, but he was also one of the few Republicans that within 20 minutes stopped the fucking Holocaust in Lebanon because of the IDF and shit at that time. Like, he actually criticized Israel and called the prime minister at the time and said, stop your fucking shit right now, or I'm gutting everything that I am fucking giving to you right now. And within 20 minutes, less than a half an hour, the Israeli government stopped their fucking shit in Lebanon during the Lebanese war. Like, Reagan was literally the main reason why that shit stopped.
With his policy, but he got shit done. And same with Trump. He gets shit done.
Well, no, honestly, I feel like a lot of the policies of Trump actually kind of led to October 7th because Trump was...
You might not like his policies, but...
Well, hold on. At least when it comes to the Israel-Palestinian issue specifically, let me explain this at least. Because Trump, like, he established the U.S. Embassy in the city of Jerusalem, which was unprecedented when he did that because... the idea was that all international embassies were going to be in Tel Aviv, which was the, symbolic and / secular and official capital of the state of Israel. But within Zionistic / Abrahamic belief systems, whether it's Christianity or Judaism, etc., like they believe that Jerusalem is the state of Israel's capital. And Trump, was pushing that shit and made the U.S. Embassy in the state of Jerusalem. Which, as you can imagine, there's a lot of religious tension with that because not only the Jews, but the Christians and Muslims, believe that Jerusalem and Bethlehem, which is right next to Jerusalem, basically, like they believe that those are their holy sites and their holy states. And a lot of their mosques or churches or synagogues happen to be propped up in the same exact spots where, they push the shit. Like, I know, I forgot the name of it, but there's a Judaic synagogue where the Al-Quds Mosque sits today, where that is standing on, and also there's like a Christian church that used to stand on like some sort of a Judaic synagogue as well. Like, there's like a lot of former Judaic synagogues that like a lot of Christian and Islamic churches or places exist now. But, I mean, a lot of it really ties into Abrahamic philosophy and religion. And, Zionism is the same way.
One religion had it, then another religion took it over, tore down all the churches, mosques or whatever, and built their own, and then somebody else came in and did the same thing over and over again since the beginning of time.
I mean, honestly, isn't that kind of the fundamental problem of this whole, like, bullshit that's going on lately? It's like, it really is tied to religion as far as I can notice. Yeah, and it's like, I mean, why can't we have a genuine secular state of Israel and Palestine and like, whether it's a two-state or a single-state solution, like of a secular nation there that, like will eventually, take the heel of the religious extremism, whether it's Judaic or Islamic or Christian or whatever the fuck, I don't care what. Like, just root that shit out and just make like a genuine modernized, secular democratic state that unifies all these people, the Semitic peoples, the Palestinian people, and the Judaic people.
Israel is secular, it's a Jewish state.
Honestly, not necessarily. I mean, because so many of them believe in this religious prophecy of the idea that, like, the holy state of Israel must be, push, for this fucking... A lot of them don't really believe that shit. That's why I'm so against it. Because, like, it's fundamentally built on a religious proposition, basically.
Yeah, I know.
I will never ever get behind that shit.
People around the rest of the world that hate that type of shit, they move here. That's why we should not have that here.
I don't agree with that. But, it's not necessarily true that, like, every fucking person that was trying to flee this shit was coming here. Plenty of them were going to other places. And plenty of them came here as, like, a opportunity for that. But, ended up getting foiled over other shit. So, there's nuance to that. But, at the end of the day, it's still, like, a fucking problem. Especially when it comes to Zionism. Holy shit, dude. Paul's Ego and Vegan Gains. I don't know if anyone knows about Vegan Gains. But Vegan Gains is a OG, long-time fucking YouTuber from back in the 06, 07, 08 era of YouTube. He's an OG motherfucker. And he's an unironic sociopath and an unironic antisocial personality disorder diagnosed individual. I'm not even going to lie about that. On top of being a person that supposedly values animal life versus human life. And Paul, happened to, Vegan Gains happened to be on the YouTube Shorts a little bit. And, find, Paul and be like, hey, you want to have a debate about, like, veganism, Israel, Palestine, and a few other topics? And Paul was like, fuck yeah, dude. Give me, 15 minutes. And, he, pulled up another stream. I tuned in just in time for the Israel-Palestine topic. Vegan Gains is an actual bloodthirsty maniac monster. And honestly, it's fundamentally to the idea of Zionism. Here's the reason why I want to bring that up. Because this motherfucker literally will refuse to acknowledge basic objective facts. Basic facts of, babies or women, men, innocent civilians being mulched. Fucking, their fucking limbs. Their fucking livelihoods ripped apart. Literally. And unequivocally. And it's to him, that was bullshit. To him, that was nonsense. To him, that was like a detachment from reality. And yet, this motherfucker wanted to be like, oh, well, you're pushing this international data that is so fundamentally against, the Jewish people and the Israeli state. So thus, it must be inaccurate. He's pushing unironic, fucking anti-Semitic, fucking evil bullshit, for his own fucking good. And I hate the Zionist monster, the Zionist fucking animal, the Zionist fucking dog, the Zionist fucking leech that wants to fucking use the fucking humanity of all of our species against, in favor of their fucking Holocaust, / fucking genocidal philosophy. I refuse to accept that shit and allow that shit to fucking fly. I will refuse that shit to ever, fly, as far as I'm concerned. The Zionist is inherently a bloodthirsty fucking monster, and that's all you should fucking view a Zionist as. A bloodthirsty, fucking evil, weasel, savage monster. That's all they are, is a monster. That's what a Zionist is. Fundamentally. And any fucking idea that they want to fucking, deflect from that shit, or be like, well, but Hamas though? Oh, but what about a Nazi that exists in America? Like the one outlier? Oh, it's I don't give a fuck. Fuck them too. But you know what? Fuck you more. How about that, bitch? Fuck you more, but fuck them too. Because that's how I feel. Fuck the Nazi, fuck a Hamas supporter, but fuck you more, you Zionist dog. Fuck you more. How about that? Fuck all of you, but especially the Zionist. Cause, you're not gonna have any respect for me. I'm at least willing to try to fucking, take a Nazi or fucking some Hamas supporter motherfucker, and take him away from the radicalism of that shit. But with a Zionist, there ain't no fucking winning with that shit. There ain't no winning. There ain't no way you're gonna argue against them. They're detached from morality and detached from the reality so much that they cannot comprehend what the fuck reality actually is. A Zionist will never ever be able to comprehend what reality is. They're incapable of it. They are fundamentally stunted so much to the point they're incapable of understanding what reality actually is. When it comes to objective facts, when it comes to the objective actual nuance of what the fucking reality is, when it comes to the fucking media that is against them. They are utterly detached to that idea. They cannot comprehend it. They are so against and detached from the idea of reality that it's inarguable. It just is, objectively. It's objectively that a Zionist is against the idea of reality, fundamentally, that, honestly, if you're arguing against that, you're insane. You're honestly a fucking psycho and a Zionist puppet just like the rest of them. There's no way against it. Either you are detached from reality that Palestinians are being genocided and slaughtered day in, day out, every fucking day, every second, in every fucking hour, or you're detached from that reality, and you somehow justify that, because of truth or some shit, even though that is nothing more than a scapegoat, and you're a fucking villain, and a fucking monster, and a fucking devil, fucking scum, piece of fucking shit, to use the Jews as a way to fucking excuse the genocide against Palestinians. If you're that motherfucker, go fuck yourself. I wish nothing more than fucking damnation of every element of your fucking life. And I wish nothing more than you to fucking cease to exist. I'll at least put it that way. Don't even fucking ask how I personally feel about that shit. When it comes to these Zionist dogs, I got some real personal fucking ideas I could really say their ass, but I ain't gonna fucking say a thing. I can't believe these motherfuckers want it, honestly, 8 months in. 9 months in, and they still want to fucking push this shit. You got people like Bassam Youssef, fucking, who else? You got all these motherfuckers, all these people out there, fucking, unequivocally, objectively saying what is the reality of that shit, and people still want to deny that. People still want to deny that reality. I don't even know, bro. How do you even combat that? Outside of just fucking telling them that they're a fucking monster, a disgusting anti-human fucking savage, a bloodthirsty monster, a Nazi, a fucking piece of shit, fucking filth bag, motherfucker who is fundamentally against the human race. Honestly. That's who a Zionist is. That is a Zionist fundamentally to their core. An anti-human, a fucking bloodthirsty motherfucker, a fucking savage who wants to see the extermination of Arabs. That's that's a fucking Zionist. Someone who wants to see the extermination of Arabs, the extermination of Islam, the extermination of Palestinians, the extermination of Abrahamic fucking beliefs, outside of their own Christendom. Because that's really what it's fundamentally about, is evangelical Christian Zionism. That's what it's fundamentally about. These motherfuckers will do nothing more than seek the extermination of every philosophy and every ideology that is against that idea. Whether it's a trade unionist, progressive idea, whether it's an idea of Islam, or whether it's an idea of secularism, whatever it is, it doesn't even matter. They're going to kill it. They're going to exterminate it, no matter what. That is the fundamental philosophy of Zionism. It's the extermination of progressivism, the extermination of humanitarianism, the extermination of empathy, the extermination of the idea of Arabs, being allowed to be a fucking thing, the extermination of Islam, the extermination of culture. That is what Islam, or what Zionism is about. The extermination of everything that is fundamentally against the idea of Christian evangelicalism. Fundamentally. Never let any fucking Zionist tell you otherwise. Never let a Zionist tell you otherwise. Never. We need to get rid of them before they get rid of us. I mean, I agree. I really do, dude. I really honestly do, bro. I mean, because, they're going to literally be the nuclear holocaust of us all. These Zionists, they were literally honestly going to be a nuclear holocaust to us all. That's why I'm so against, the, Trump and Biden administration, because they're so unequivocally Zionist. I would rather fucking the DNC push fucking Gavin Newsom or anybody else who's at least willing to at least be somewhat critical against this fucking philosophy that is going to kill us all. Legitimately. I mean, honestly, I really do think Zionism is going to be a death of all of us. The death of humanity, the death of empathy, the death of fucking prosperity, the death of progress. It seems like, honestly, all in all, in this current, age right now, Zionism is going to be the death of us. And the DNC and the GOP are fundamentally, utterly, unequivocally in support of that shit. And I just cannot help but be against that shit. I just fundamentally cannot help but be against it. Because it's going to kill us all. Capitalists are going to do that, not Zionism. I mean, and I agree with that too. I think capitalism and Zionism honestly go hand in hand. I really honestly do believe that. I do think Zionism and capitalism go hand in hand. Why do you think they are why do you think the DNC and the GOP are such a lockstep? Not just when it comes to capitalism, but when it comes to Zionism. I mean, why do you think they're so in lockstep with that shit? Because at the end of the day, that shit benefits each other. That shit, benefits both parties. That shit benefits both of, the broader lobbyist, agenda of the duopoly. It's fundamentally against us and fundamentally going to kill us all. I mean, it's the sooner we fucking, get against this shit, the sooner we're going to be able to, at least have some opportunity of progress. Because fuck, dude. It's one thing to be anti-Zionist, but it's, another thing to be, pro-capitalist, but also that at the same time in a sense, because they both go hand in hand. They're both gonna fucking be a destructive force against us. Zionism, post-capitalist philosophy, sadly. I don't know about that. I mean, maybe. I mean, sure, yeah, maybe. But I don't really necessarily, believe that it would be. I mean, it probably would. I'm not going to be against it. But, I don't know. Either way, it's just a fundamentally destructive fucking philosophy, and we just need to fucking break away from that. Because if not, it's going to be the death of us. Because this shit is, getting to some weird fucking destructive literal death cult fucking prophecy shit that I do not want to see. And I don't want to be a fucking thing at all. And these evangelical Christians and a lot of these like hardcore Zionists and shit are so gung-ho about pushing that. And it is a fucking evil, horrible, distasteful, and destructive fundamental ideology. That's why, honestly, I mean, as much as I am an anti-theist, I do really honestly kind of look at the Bible a little bit, at least, the paraphrased version that I do own, which thank fuck that I do, because, like, a lot of the... Hey, yo, Mickey the Rat. Hey, where are you, buddy? Yo, what's up, Mickey the Rat? Dude, Mickey the Rat is a fat fuck, dude. Mickey the Rat is a fat bastard. I saw him earlier today. Oh my god, he's a fat fuck, dude. I'm honestly surprised he's still alive. He snuck into the goddamn fucking kitchen, bro. Like this motherfucker, dude. Mickey the Rat. Mickey the Rat, bro. And you're flexing. You're flexing tonight, son. Oh, now you're not? That's right. Yeah. Yeah, shut the fuck up. Well, the evangelicals have been Israel then? No. Dude, what happens if Jesus doesn't appear? Do you realize that, evangelical Christians have been prophesizing the resurrection of Jesus for literally over 2,000 fucking years? Like, legitimately. Like, I mean, since his death and after his supposed resurrection, a lot of Christians have legitimately believed that he's going to return any day now since that fucking incident. I'm aware. Well, so yeah. Christians always push the shit, and it's never going to happen. Never will. Because honestly, as far as I'm concerned, this is why I see Jesus as a philosopher, not as a religious, deity or some shit. Because, like, when it comes to his teachings, I'm okay with that shit. But the idea that he is, like, some prophetic, like, prophet or, like, a son of God and all this other shit, I don't believe that bullshit. It's bunk. Like, if anything, like, as far as I'm concerned, like, a lot of his philosophy is mainly, based off of, like, multiple individuals, including his apostles. Like, his apostles might have been way more than the 13 apostles that he had. I mean, a lot of them probably were, interwoven into the main voices of those, apostles. I mean, so, I don't know, like, at the end of the day, like, he's not, like, some fundamental reality of, humanity. I mean, if anything, he's just like a story. He's a character of humanity that we have passed down, and that's really what he is. He's not a real human being. Well, I'm assuming he doesn't return after Israel retakes the Holy Land entirely. Netanyahu fucking, claims the idea that he's a fucking prophet, gospel fucking prophet or some shit. I don't fucking know. I mean, I'm not a religious person. Especially when it comes to this shit, so I don't fucking know. Evangelicals think he will return and convert the Jews. I know that. After eating half of them. I know that. Yep. Yeah, the evangelical Christian church believes that, like, when the Messiah returns, that either the Jews are going to convert to Christianity or they're going to, be a part of the rapture / die in hellfire damnation for the 7-year curse and all that shit. So, yeah. Like, I mean, honestly, like, fundamentally, there's, like, a really strong anti-Semitism within Christianity. Like, honestly, there really is. especially with the idea that like either the Jews are going to convert to Christianity or they're not when the Messiah returns. Just on that virtue alone, that's kind of anti-Semitic. Because the idea that like what, like all the Jews are going to fucking be Christians or they're going to die in hellfire. I don't know. Sounds kind of anti-Semitic. A little bit. Just a little. Not just a little, but a lot of bit. After you eat half of them? Oh, yeah. That's part of the evangelical Christian, philosophy. It's the idea that like half the fucking Jews are either going to convert or die in the rapture. How bugs be like for me the moment I go outside. Try I don't know if like there's any shit that might be available for this, but try a lavender essence oil. Like I'm not even kidding, dude. Like, cause I found some of that at my store. When it comes to like when I bathed me and Mizukov, I give him a little bit of that, and I give myself a little bit of that, and dude, that shit works, bro. That shit works hella good. Why is Mizukov in the fucking lunchroom again? Locking himself up. Really? Wow. Wow. A new guy's server. Cool. Yeah. I'm gonna go bathroom quick. I'll be right back out. Bada bing, bada boom. Get left there, final line. Nice. Hello, queer left there. Yeah, 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 yeah. Move out of the way, dog. This is a good little boy. Aw. This is a good little boy. Aw. Good little tail. This cute little tail. Yeah. Man. Man. He's a good boy. Oh. Man. Really? Seriously? Wow. Gotta make a bunch of fucking noise. Of course, yes, do that shit. We talk seems relevant to your interests at least. Wait, was it? You're not a super Vosh fan, but thoughts? Alright, I'll check it out. Fuck it. What have we got?
Let's move on to bad news.
Well, fuck your bad news. How about that? Bish? Oh, gotta make sure this is turned on. Cool. There we go. Split. And I guess we probably should make sure that we got our screen up. There we go. Cool.
Bad news, I'll admit I don't care much about it because I don't think it was ever that defensible within a legal framework. It's pretty wild news. The Supreme Court has just revoked the most significant piece of gun legislation introduced in the past few decades, and it was one introduced by Donald Trump.
Oh, is this the bump stock ban? Is that what it's about?
The bump stock ban has been struck down, the piece of legislation pushed by the Trump administration in response to the Las Vegas shooting. For those of you who don't know, in America since the 80s, you, with the exception of some specific circumstances, executive order, not legislation. With the exception of some specific circumstances, you cannot buy an automatic weapon. You know, for a long time in American history, you could just pick up an automatic weapon. No longer, I'm afraid. Not since the 80s. And to get around that, recently, people invented the bump stock. The bump stock basically is a piece of technology.
Used to be able to buy autos. Yeah. Yeah. Pre 1980, funny enough, before Reagan, you were able to do that. And also, a lot of that is grandfathered in as well. So if you have a granddaddy or somebody, that to have machine guns or fully automatic weapons, that were in their arsenal or in their ownership, yeah, you can own those. There ain't nothing wrong with it. Which honestly, like, I'm okay with as long as there's at least, still that basic requirement, in the sense of like, hey, are you able to be safely demonstrate that you can own these firearms? So, I'm okay with that. I'll grant that.
That allows you to fire a semi-automatic rifle at near automatic speeds because as you fire, the kind of like the recoil from the shot bounces the trigger back against your finger. It's a surprisingly simple way of effectively making a firearm automatic. Of course, the downside to this is because you're not actually making the firearm automatic, you're just making it like vibrate in your arms. Your accuracy goes way down.
That's true. And also, you can do that by bump firing a weapon. So, I mean, like, I could literally do the same thing as a bump stock by just literally doing this. Literally this with my hand. With the trigger mechanism. Like, as long as I don't really have, like, my hand on, like, the pistol grip of the weapon when it comes to my AK or my shotgun, like, I can legit, like, pull the trigger and just let the recoil take hold of what I'm doing and just basically let it do its thing. I've actually done that a few times. I bump fired my AK a couple times, and I'm just gonna be honest, bro. It's kind of fun. It is kind of fun. I will admit that. Because it does kind of simulate an element of automatic fire when it comes to that shit. So, I'll admit, I've done that shit. But the thing is, it's legal. It's totally okay. There's nothing, against the law, so to speak, of bump firing your weapon by doing this with your fucking, like, trigger mechanism. And just, like, pulling the fucking weapon forward and just letting the trigger kind of do its own thing. And, like, bah, 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 all that shit. I'll admit, it's kind of fun. I like it. At the end of the day, there still needs to be a strong fucking regulated system against this type of stuff when it comes to somebody who is, violent or a threat against themselves or any, all that shit. Like, there is a level when it comes to this type of stuff that, yeah, I'm 100% in favor when it comes to regulation. But when it comes to, like, the performance of the weapon itself, like when it comes to magazine capacity or like whether like a bump stock happens to be on it or some shit, I don't fucking know. I don't know. Like, to me, that just seems like too much of a step too far in the sense that it's like going after like parts and like elements of like the broader system that is the firearm. And like we can be doing a lot more to restrict the access to firearms versus all the other shit that comes with it. Like, that's why I'm not really favor, and that's why I'm not in favor of like magazine capacity bans, or like fucking like you cannot own like any fucking automatic weapon or all that shit. Like, it's like I'm not really in favor of those type of laws. I'm just in favor of very strict regulation of accessibility. Like, as long as you go for the processes of being able to show that you can properly own these weapons, whether it's an automatic weapon or anything else or otherwise, then I don't give a fuck. I really don't. I honestly don't. As long as it can show that you can fucking prove that you're going to safely store that shit and safely operate that shit, I honestly really don't give a fuck. I really honestly don't. Because, like, I got weapons that can be considered pretty fucking dangerous for, a lot of the average Joe Schmo, people. And, like, I'm sure shit ain't no fucking threat when it comes to that type of stuff. All I do when it comes to my weapons is target shoot. I just take some steel targets, some clay pigeons and stuff like that, and that's all I shoot. Obviously there's a lot of motherfuckers out there that just really shouldn't be able to fucking operate a weapon. I really do believe that. And there are way too many people like that. And they fucking put, a fucking idea that, like, all us gun owners are supposed to be, like, just as stupid as them. I mean, fuck no. I mean, if anything, I detest these, motherfuckers that want to fucking undermine, this idea of, like, proper regulation or proper safety when it comes to firearms. Fuck those people. They are fucking pieces of shit. And they undermine a lot of these, individuals like me that really do give a fuck about the idea of these type of rights. I mean, because I really do. But, like, I don't want, no motherfucker, being some dumb yokel Elmer Fudd motherfucker, looking down the end of their fucking shotgun scene if, like, what's blocking my shotgun barrel? Oh, I almost blew my head off, but I shot the fucking hat off my head? Oops. Oh, well, I didn't mean to have that happen. Which, by the way, that literally did. You can literally look at a fucking gun compilation fail video, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I call that a Darwin world. I do too. I really do. I agree with that. But why should that besmirch all of us, that when it comes to being a gun owner? Fuck those people. And I think, they're a piece of shit, and they should not be able to fucking dictate the idea of the right of a firearm, because they're obviously too stupid to even acknowledge, and respect that fucking right. So why should they be able to fucking, like, have all this leeway, and yet someone like me has to go all through these bullshit hoops, which in a way they're not, but it's like, why should I have to go for all these hoops, but yet some dumb yokel fucking incest trans-pegging fuckwit like that piece of shit is willing to fucking, like, overstep that shit and be able to, like, get that shit out of a fucking parking lot in Walmart or whatever the fuck. I mean, there's a bullshit double standard to it all. And that's what I'm against. I don't like that shit. I think it's bullshit. Why do I have to live in a state that holds, to granted maybe a lot more, to the idea of what a responsible gunner ought to be, versus fucking, some yokel state like Texas? Like, because, like, Texas, will literally fucking not give a fuck or give a shit or enforce any law when it comes to the idea of third-party transfer in somewhere like Walmart or some shit, when there's no fucking proper licensed dealer when it comes to that shit. They don't give a fuck, because there's a grandfathered loophole when it comes to that shit. A lot of these states have these ideas, and I think it's fucked. Because, like, what about me? Not that I think, these type of rights should be, given to me necessarily, but I just think that a lot of these rights, should be, fucking, given as a standard across the board. Like, I mean, I think, what we got here in Oregon, I mean, I'm not necessarily against. There's a lot of bullshit, bureaucracy, nonsense, like your magazine capacity bans or whatever, that I'm against. But when it comes to the idea of, like, having to, like, do some basic training and have, like, way more vigorous background check outside of just, like, I want to buy a gun. Oh, this much? Okay. Go for base background check, pass it, because willy-nilly, and then just give the money. Like, I mean, yeah, that shouldn't really be a thing. I don't agree with that. But at the end of the day, there needs to be, like, a genuine... No, my phone died. That's what happened. My phone died. That's all that happened. Okay? I'm charging it now. So, you know what? I'm literally only here to say that, you know what? That was a cue for me to just, like, eat some food and say fuck it. So, that's all I'm doing. Don't be fucking spamming my bullshit. You know what? That's all you get. That is all you get. Okay? No. Too bad. Too bad. Why are you spamming so much? No, no, stay. No, no, no. Oops. Not doing it. This is literally here. Just, let you know that it's all good. We're going bye-bye. Trying to keep informed. I mean, maybe. But, watch my point when I react to. Well, you know what? We're going to do that another time. We'll do that another time. We'll look at it later. And by later, I mean, I don't know. Sometime tomorrow. I don't even know or care. So, just remind me. How about that? Doggo, really? Wow, what a silly little dog. It's only been 45 minutes. Too bad. I don't care. I want some food. And plus, I need some sleep. So, anyway. Bada bing, bada boom. Call good for now. All that fucking shit. So, we'll look at that fucking thing, later. Okay? We'll do that later. By later, I mean probably tomorrow. And probably tomorrow night. But whatever.